What is the true purpose of a boundary? And I think it might surprise you if we really take it from a heart-centered level. If we take boundaries out of this is what gives the ego some belief it has some degree of control. And it doesn't mean you have to put yourself in situations where people disrespect or harm you or manipulate you. But what a boundary actually is a boundary is a way for you to maintain alignment with your highest truth and integrity with your energy. And that's the most important thing I want us to focus on. Integrity with our energy. What does that mean? Integrity with our energy is like a bank account. And as adults, we don't write checks bigger than the amount in our banks, because then it bounces a check, we get a late fee, and then we're starting to find ourselves imbalanced in the red. And energetically, we do the same thing. We're in the name of being validated by people, in the name of trying to receive the approval we often don't give ourselves. We often overextend ourselves energetically. We overcommit ourselves. We say yes to things that we haven't tuned in to see if we have the bandwidth or energy to handle. Maybe we overcommit ourselves because we're afraid of being rejected. Maybe we overcommit ourselves because we're afraid of being seen in the eyes of someone else as less than spectacular, whole, and incredible. Maybe we say yes to things that overextend ourselves because we're afraid of being rejected by people. And maybe we're not surrounding ourselves with the highest quality of relationships, but maybe there's a part of our ego that says, at least I'm not alone. So whatever the reason is that we overextend ourselves, we say yes before tuning in to see whether we have the bandwidth. Having integrity with your energy is saying, do I have the energy in my emotional and energetic bank account to write the check of this commitment with this person? And if not, a boundary is a way of saying, I'd love to make that purchase. I'd love to write a check and help you with what you're asking for. But there's not enough in my emotional or energetic bank account to clear that check. And the same goes with boundaries when you're hanging out with, whether it's an ex-partner, maybe you're co-parenting with someone you're no longer in relationship with, and there might be some edges based on how the relationship ended. Maybe it's when you go see your family for certain holidays and certain dynamics come out, or you find yourself being age regressed in the presence of family members who only know how to see you as who you were when they first met you. Boundaries is a way of saying, I agree to spend time with people for as long as I can maintain the integrity of my highest moral, ethical value. And if the differences between me and other people become so jagged, creates such friction that I notice myself regularly lowering the standard of my ethics. And instead of speaking from my deepest spiritual intention, I'm speaking from a history of pain. I'm speaking from passive-aggressive standpoints. I'm speaking from mean-spiritedness, judgmental perspectives. Maybe I'm feeling judged by someone and I reflect back a judgment. When our conduct and behavior around other people has caused us to lower the value of our morality, that's the moment that we say, I'm sorry. I think it's time for me to go. It's been a pleasure, or it's been real, and I'll see you later. In the same way that if you were a parent to a newborn child, and you brought that newborn child to a family picnic, and for the life of you, nothing you did could console the child from its crying fits. It's very common at events for parents of a newborn to say, oh my God, we plan to be here for 2 hours. Our baby is just not having it. We have to leave. It's only been 10 minutes. I'm so sorry. And everyone understands because it's a newborn. But what happens when that newborn is in your heart and you actually treat your inner child as if it's an actual child you are carrying? And you say to someone, I plan to be here most of the day, and I'm just not able to be here. My inner child is having a process, and I need to go hold space for that. I'm so sorry. That's a boundary. And what do we notice is the common theme in what I'm saying? Boundaries are for us. They're not against other people. Boundaries is not when you say, you don't have the right to treat me that way. That's called speaking up for yourself. That's called advocating for yourself. Boundaries are, what do I and don't I have the energy to commit to and give? And if I notice that I'm in an environment that is constantly bringing out the least redeemable characters within me, I either stay in the fire and try to figure it out and fan the flames, or I tune in and I say, what do I need the most? I need self-care right now. Because the only reason why any person acts lower than the standard of their highest conduct is because their basic needs are not being met. And in our society, people put their basic needs aside in the name of maintaining a commitment to a social function. But social functions are what we agree to when we're in a space of wholeness. And if the world was run like a giant village and there was a function, and we found out Matt Kahn can't come to this function all of a sudden because he's not feeling well, then the village would come together and, do we need to bring Matt Kahn dinner? Do we need to give him, does he have enough drinking water? Is he taking care of himself? From a village perspective, not being able to stay at a function means that person needs care while going through some sort of physical, emotional, or energetic process. So we have to live as the leaders of our own village. And we have to know that when I'm in a space of wholeness, I can connect and communicate in whatever way matches the bandwidth and energy and capacity I have in my emotional or energetic bank account. And I can be around family of differing opinions. But if my ethical value starts to lower, if I start getting so triggered that I'm acting in a way I'm going to regret, or is going to cause me to feel as if I'm less than the love that I intend to be, don't I have the right to remove myself from this environment and give myself the care that I so deeply deserve and desire? So boundaries are not against other people. Boundaries are for us. And the deepest purpose of boundary is to actually get you into a solid relationship with truth and authenticity.